High in the Bavarian Alps of Germany, a castle seems to rise from the very pages of a storybook. This is Neuschwanstein, a vision of white towers and blue turrets perched dramatically on a rugged hill. It's surrounded by a landscape of deep green forests and crystal-clear lakes. When you first see it, whether through the mist of morning or glowing in the afternoon sun, it feels unreal. It's a place that seems too perfect, too magical to be true. This is the ultimate fairy tale castle, a fantasy brought to life, and it continues to capture the hearts and imaginations of travelers from all over the world. The castle's appearance is no accident. It was designed to look like something from a medieval romance. Its tall, slender towers reach for the sky, and its intricate balconies seem to be waiting for a princess. The location itself adds to the magic. It sits above the Neuschwanstein Valley, offering breathtaking views that stretch for miles. You can almost hear the echoes of knights and legends in the wind that whips around its walls. It doesn't look like a fortress built for war. Instead, it looks like a stage set for a grand romantic opera, a place built not for defense, but for dreaming. Every angle of this castle tells a story. From the magnificent Marienbrücke, or Mary's Bridge, you get that postcard-perfect view that has become famous worldwide. The bridge itself, suspended high over a deep gorge with a waterfall rushing below, feels like part of the adventure. Looking at the castle from this vantage point, you understand why it has inspired so many artists, poets, and filmmakers. It is a powerful symbol of romanticism, a style that celebrated emotion, nature, and the glories of the past. Neuschwanstein is more than just a building. It is the physical embodiment of a beautiful, enchanting dream. Visiting Neuschwanstein feels like stepping into another world. As you make your way up the winding road to the castle entrance, the modern world seems to fade away. You're transported back to a time of kings and queens, of epic tales and grand gestures. The air is fresh with the scent of pine, and the only sounds are the chirping of birds and the excited whispers of fellow travelers. This journey is part of the experience, building anticipation for the wonders that wait inside. The castle promises a glimpse into a fantasy, and it delivers on that promise in every spectacular detail. To understand Neuschwanstein, you must understand the man who dreamed it into existence, King Ludwig II of Bavaria. Often called the fairy tale king, Ludwig was not interested in the politics and wars of his time. He was a shy and reclusive ruler who found his true passion in art, music, and mythology. He was a devoted patron of the composer Richard Wagner, whose epic operas, filled with tales of German knights, tragic heroes, and mythical swans, deeply inspired him. Ludwig didn't want to build a castle for governing or for military might. He wanted to create a private refuge, a personal world where he could live out his romantic fantasies. Ludwig II grew up in the nearby Neuschwanstein Castle, a place already decorated with scenes from medieval legends. These stories filled his imagination from a young age. As he grew into a king, he found the duties of ruling to be a heavy burden. He longed to escape the harsh realities of the 19th century and retreat into a world of beauty and imagination. Neuschwanstein was to be his ultimate escape. It was not intended to be a royal palace for the public or for government functions. It was designed as a personal, livable stage for the Wagnerian operas he so adored, a place where art and life could merge into one. The king wrote to Wagner, describing his vision for the new castle. He wanted to rebuild the ruins of a nearby medieval fortress in the authentic style of the old German knights' castles. He imagined a place with grand halls where he could feel the presence of the heroes from Wagner's operas, like Tannhäuser and Lohengrin. Ludwig poured his personal fortune and immense energy into this project. He oversaw every detail of the design, working closely with a stage designer rather than a traditional architect. This choice shows that he was more interested in creating a theatrical experience than a practical building. Ludwig's dream was a reaction against the industrial age that was transforming Europe. While others were building factories and railways, Ludwig was building castles that looked to the past. He was a king who felt out of place in his own time, a true romantic in an age of realism. He wanted to create a monument to a more poetic and noble era, even if that era had only ever existed in stories and songs. Neuschwanstein was his defiant statement, a declaration that dreams and beauty were just as important as progress and power. It was the ultimate project of a king who ruled a kingdom of fantasy. The construction of Neuschwanstein began in 1869, on a site that was both spectacular and incredibly challenging. Before any building could start, the very peak of the rocky outcrop had to be flattened by about 26 feet. This was a massive undertaking that required blasting away tons of rock. The location, while stunning, was difficult to access. All the building materials, the white limestone for the facade, the bricks for the walls, the marble for the interiors, had to be hauled up the steep, winding path using carts pulled by horses and oxen. It was a monumental effort that involved hundreds of craftsmen, artisans, and laborers. This was a 19th century construction site, but it used the most advanced techniques of its day. Steam-powered cranes were used to lift heavy materials to great heights, and a steam engine was used to generate electricity. The castle was a marvel of modern engineering hidden behind a medieval facade. Ludwig insisted on the very best materials and the highest quality of workmanship. He followed the progress closely, often visiting the site to inspect the work and make changes. The project became his life's obsession, a place where his vision would be made permanent in stone and mortar. The castle was designed to look like a medieval fortress, but it was equipped with all the latest comforts. Ludwig planned for running water throughout the castle, including hot and cold water in the kitchen and his personal bathroom. He had flushing toilets installed, a rare luxury at the time. A sophisticated hot air heating system kept the vast rooms warm during the cold alpine winters. He even had plans for an electric bell system to summon servants and a telephone line connecting him to the outside world. It was a true blend of medieval fantasy and modern convenience. Despite the immense effort and resources poured into it, the castle was never fully completed. Ludwig's vision was so grand and his standards so high that the project took much longer and cost much more than originally planned. At the time of his death in 1886, only about a third of the planned interior rooms were finished. The grand throne room was complete, but it was missing its throne. Other sections, like the massive keep that was supposed to be the centerpiece of the courtyard, were never even started. Neuschwanstein remains a magnificent, unfinished symphony, a testament to a dream that was almost too big to be realized. Stepping inside Neuschwanstein is like walking into the heart of a legend. The rooms are incredibly ornate, decorated with a richness and detail that is almost overwhelming. Every surface, walls, ceilings, floors and furniture, is a work of art. The walls are covered in magnificent murals that tell the stories from Richard Wagner's operas. These are not just decorations, they are the very soul of the castle. In the Singers' Hall, you see scenes from the legend of Tannhäuser. In the king's own living quarters, the story of Lohengrin, the Swan Knight, unfolds across the walls. Ludwig wanted to surround himself with these heroic tales, to literally live inside his favorite stories. The swan is a recurring symbol you will see everywhere in the castle. It appears in paintings, on textiles carved into wood, and even as the shape of a magnificent faucet in the king's bathroom. The swan was a deeply personal symbol for Ludwig. It was the heraldic animal of the Counts of Schwangau, the original lords of the area, whose name translates to Swan County. It was also the symbol of Lohengrin, the Swan Knight, with whom Ludwig strongly identified. For the king, the swan represented purity, grace, and the mystical world of romantic legends that he so loved. Neuschwanstein is, in many ways, the castle of the Swan King. Among the most stunning rooms is the throne hall. This space was designed to look like a Byzantine church, with 2 stories of columns, a glittering mosaic floor depicting the animals and plants of the world, and a star-filled blue ceiling. It was intended to represent the divine right of kings, a link between the earthly kingdom and the heavens. Ironically, a throne was never installed in this hall, as Ludwig died before it could be completed. The room stands as a powerful symbol of his ambition and his ultimate failure to see his grand vision fully realized. It is a throne room without a throne, for a king who lived more in his imagination than in the real world. Every room reveals another layer of Ludwig's fantasy. His bedroom is dominated by a huge, elaborately carved wooden bed that took more than 4 years to create. Next to it is a small, artificial grotto, a man-made cave complete with a waterfall and colored lights, designed to look like a scene from Wagner's opera Tannhäuser. This bizarre and wonderful feature shows just how far Ludwig was willing to go to bring his fantasies to life. He didn't just want to look at art, he wanted to inhabit it. The interiors of Neuschwanstein are a deeply personal and theatrical space, a direct look into the mind of the fairy tale king. King Ludwig II's time in his dream castle was tragically short. He moved into the still unfinished Neuschwanstein in 1884, seeking refuge from a world he no longer understood or wanted to be a part of. He spent his days sleeping and his nights awake, wandering the halls of his fantasy palace, often alone. In total, he only lived in the castle for 172 days. His extravagant spending on Neuschwanstein and other castles had plunged the royal family into deep debt. His ministers, concerned about his mental state and the kingdom's finances, declared him insane and unfit to rule in 1886. Just days after being removed from his castle, King Ludwig II died under mysterious circumstances. He and his psychiatrist were found dead in the shallow waters of Lake Starnberg. The official story was that he drowned himself, but many questions remain. Was it an accident? Was it murder? The mystery of his death only adds to the legend of the fairy tale king. He died without seeing his beloved Neuschwanstein completed, a tragic end for a man whose life was dedicated to creating beauty. He wanted the castle to be his private sanctuary, destroyed upon his death, but fate had other plans. Just 7 weeks after Ludwig's death, his unfinished castle was opened to the public. The very thing he dreaded, strangers walking through his private fantasy world, is what saved it. The entrance fees charged to curious visitors helped to pay off the massive debts from its construction. Immediately, the castle became a sensation. People from all over the world flocked to see the incredible creation of the eccentric king. Its fame grew, and it eventually became the inspiration for one of the most famous castles of all, Sleeping Beauty Castle at Disneyland. Walt Disney was captivated by Neuschwanstein on a trip to Europe, and its romantic silhouette became a global symbol of fantasy and happily ever afters. Today, Neuschwanstein is one of the most popular tourist destinations in Europe, attracting over 1 million visitors each year. It stands as a timeless symbol of the power of dreams. It is a reminder that sometimes, the most beautiful things in the world are not created for a practical purpose, but simply for the love of art and imagination. The castle is more than just a building. It is a story, a legend, and an inspiration. It is the enduring legacy of a lonely king who dared to build his fairy tale, creating a masterpiece that continues to enchant the world long after he was gone.